Alright, hello, welcome to another update today. So today from what I was mentioning yesterday, I mainly worked on these different UI elements. So I added a timer, a combo meter, and then an input display. So let's show you guys what it looks like in game. So top center, right, you can see the timer counting down right now. It doesn't do anything, but that's something to be implemented later on. So the combo counter on the top left and top right corner keep tracks of how many hits your combos have. So I think we can get it to 4 hits. See if I can. But yeah, you can see the top left here. I can do a 4-hit combo, which just means that I'm doing 4-hit consecutively without the other person being able to block. Kind of a must-have in fighting games, or classic in fighting games. Trying to hopefully have it look better later on. Everything's kind of placeholder right now. Just trying to get the infrastructure down so it's easy for me to add art and make things cooler later on. So the other very noticeable thing is the input display. So on the left and right side, you can see the different inputs that the character is doing at each frame. This is actually a little bit different from how I keep track of inputs in my actual game. Just because I don't want to flood the user with every single frame of input. I want to instead only show something when something meaningful happens, like you pressing a button, you changing direction. So if you go back to neutral, nothing happens, or if you release a button, nothing also shows. It's actually a little bit tricky to get the input showing up correctly. I don't think it's possible for me to add widgets into horizontal boxes very easily. So currently I have it set up so that if there's no change, then the size of the image is 0, so that it doesn't show up. What this means is that if you're pressing punch, and because you're not changing directions, and if you're not hitting light and you're only hitting medium, so it kind of fills in as a stack from left to right. On the player 2 side, it does the opposite thing. It was actually a little bit tricky to get that working because just the way the base horizontal box works, fills from left to right, and there wasn't an option to fill from right to left for some reason, or align all the items to the right side when you're filling it up. So I had to do a little bit of like magic where I basically flip this horizontal box. So you can see this X scale here is -1, so I flipped everything, and then I also flip everything inside the horizontal box to make it flip back the right direction. So if I make this the right usual direction, because the horizontal box is flipped, all the icons would appear backward in the box. So I just flip them backwards, so it looks like they're the correct orientation. So yeah, I end up with something like this, which is great because it fills up from right to left side, and it has all the correct directions, which is exactly what I want. Let's say we got fireball on here. So the thing is that the way I keep track of inputs is a little bit different in other ways. And another difference is that because I keep track of what's you going forward and backward. So for example, if you go towards, I only keep track of whether you're going towards them or back from them. This makes tech like crosscut DP, where you start a motion from one side and then you go towards the other side as somebody crosses you up. So like if you jump over them, you can do a fireball by going like forward and back. Let's see if I can do that. I might actually need to change the dash input to not let you cross. That's a good question. So that's probably something for me to check later on. But right now I added another variable in my input frame to keep track of facing, so that I can display the correct input. So when I go backwards on the right side, or when I go backwards on the right side, even though it registers as backwards, which is -1, which technically goes towards the left side, I flip it over when I'm displaying, so that it shows you that you're actually pressing the right button. So it's just that. I thought the health bar was I set it up to be filling towards the center, or kind of what was it, decreasing towards the center, but currently that's not working. So, or I haven't done it yet, so that's something on my to-do list. So yeah, that's kind of everything I've done today. UI in Unreal is actually not bad to work with. It's a little bit weird because I can't create, or the UI elements need to like behave themselves in a way that means more like there's a function. I can bind each of these, like some of these variables, to a function. So the health bar, for example, I bind them to a function, and then and I have to call this function every frame, or like every tick, I think, to get their actual value. I'm not sure if there's ways of setting exactly what the health bars are outside, which is something I might need to look into. But that makes it a little bit tricky to work with sometimes. Um, these are fine, or at least the input displays are fine, because I have an input to add directly to a list, and the list is a variable that I can access outside, which is good. But that's something I'll probably have to look more into later on. Yeah, so that's all the work I've done for today. All the art and all the text is placeholder. The combo meter can definitely be improved. The input display icons are taken from, so the directional icons are taken from Guilty Gear, and then the light, medium, heavy attack icons are taken from Street Fighter, just to kind of speed up development. Hopefully, it'll be easier for me to put in art later on. So yeah, look forward to more interesting features tomorrow. Hopefully, I can get this timer working and have like victories and losing screens maybe. That would be another feature. Hopefully, I can. Yeah, that would be another feature. I'll just start adding on little things here and there, just to kind of flesh out the UI and the game flow and stuff like that. So yeah, look forward to more updates. Thanks for tuning in.